Oh, hello, great readers. I'm Belchan.
I'm Nimikung.
I'm Banchan.
In this class, I'll read to all of you. Chapter 20 to the Sea Still Rises, Sec 2 of A Tale of Two Cities, Book the Second Golden Thread.
As.
Ah.
A Tale of Two Cities, Book the Second Golden Thread. Charles Dickens. Chapter 20 to the Sea Still Rises, Sec 2. This villain was at the Hotel de Ville, and might be lished. Not all. If Saint Antoine knew his own sufferings, insults, and wrongs, armed men and women flocked out of the quarter so fast, and drew even these last strokes after them with such a force of suction. Antoine's bosom but a few old guns and the wailing children. Well, they were all by that time choking the hall of examination with this old man. Ugly and wicked. What? And overflowing into the adjacent open space and streets. The Defarges. Husband and wife. The Vengeance. And Jack 3 were in the first press, and at no great distance from him in the hall. See, cried Madame, pointing with her knife. See the old limb bound with ropes. That was well done to tie a bunch of grass upon his back. Ah. Ah. That was well done. Let him eat it now. Madame put her knife under her arm, and clapped her hands as at a play. The people immediately behind Madame Defarge, explaining the cause of her satisfaction to those behind them, and those again explaining to others, and those to others. The neighbouring streets resounded with the clapping of hands. Similarly, during 2 or 3 hours of drawl, and the winnowing of many bushels of words, Madame Defarge's frequent expressions of impatience were taken up, with marvellous quickness, at a distance, the more readily architecture to look in from the windows knew Madame Defarge well, and acted as the telegraph between her and the crowd outside the building. Hope or protection. Directly down upon the old prisoner's head. The favour was too much to bear. In an instant the barrier of distant chaff that had stood surprisingly long went to the winds, and Saint Antoine had got him. It was known directly to the furthest confines of the crowd. Defarge had but sprung over a railing and a table. 3 were not yet up with them, and the men at the windows had not yet swooped into the hall. Like birds of prey from their high perches when the cry seemed to go up, all over the city, bring him out. Then, and out, and head foremost on the steps of the building, and on his knees, and on his feet, and on his back, tied and struck at by hundreds of hands. Twan, bruised, panting, bleeding, yet always entreating and beseeching for mercy, now full of vehement agony of action. They might see, and a log of dead was drawn through a first of legs. He was hauled to the nearest street corner where one of the fatal lamps swung. silently and composedly looked at him while they made ready. And while he pursued her, the woman passionately screeching at him all the time, and the men sternly calling out to have him culled with grass in his mouth. On he went aloft, and the rope broke, and they caught him shrieking. Twice he went aloft, and the rope broke, and they caught him shrieking. Then the rope was merciful and held him, and his head was soon up on a pike. Oh, nor was this the end of the day's bad work, for Saint Antoine so shuddered and danced his angry blood up, that it boiled again. On hearing when the day closed and that the son-in-law of the dispatched, another of the people's enemies and insulters, was coming into Paris under a guard 500 strong, in cavalry alone, Saint Antoine wrote his crimes on flaring sheets of paper. Company set his head and heart on pikes, and carried the 3 spoils of the day in wolf procession through the streets. Not before dark night did the men and women come back to the children, wailing and breadless, and the miserable bakers' shops were beset by long files of them, patiently waiting to buy bad bread. And while they waited with stomachs faint and empty, they beguiled the time by embracing one another on the triumphs of the day, and achieving them again in gossip. Gradually, these strings of ragged people shortened and frayed away, and then pearl lights began to shine in high windows, and slender fires were made in the streets, at which neighbours cooked in common, afterwards supping at their doors, scanty and insufficient suppers those, and innocent of meat, as of most of their suster-wretched bread. Yet human fellowship infused some nourishment into the flinty vines, and struck some sparks of cheerfulness out of them. Fathers and mothers who had had their full share in the worst of the day played gently with their meagre children, and lovers, with such a world around them and before them, loved and hoped. It was almost morning when Defarge's wine shop parted with its last knot of customers, and Monsieur Defarge said to Madame his wife, in husky tones, while fastening the door, "At last it is come." "Eh well," returned Madame. Saint Antoine slept. The Defarges slept. Even the Vengeance slept with her starved courser, and the drum was at rest. Changed. The Vengeance, as custodian of the drum. The Bastille fell, or Old Fulham was seized. Not so with the horse stones of the men and women in Saint Antoine's bosom. To be continued.